Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
god. It's now
Wow.
live. Oh, Sandy. Oh. Sandy, do you see us right now? Holy shit. We've been going for 20 minutes and it wasn't recording. There was an error. So now I have to do the intro again. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Love in Black and White, where each week we try and put the love back in you. Right. I'm one of your hosts, Jay Hollingsworth. Here's the other one, Carlos Anthony. Fuck, man. We had 20 minutes. Shit. God
Well,
damn it. I know. Well, we just covered I'm not going to go over the whole Isabel thing. I got a text from my ex that I haven't seen in like 13 years. And she just randomly texted me to say that she had a baby. And congratulations to her. This is so much different than how we fucking went. We had 20 minutes in and there was fucking piece of shit.
We can pick up here. We're talking about getting as a
Angel
woman.
Reese.
Angel Reese.
Well, fuck. I'll do the angel thing again really quick. I can't believe when I was in New York this last week, Angel, my girl, we went out there. She had never been to New York, and twice she got hit on, I guess you'll say, by fucking homeless people. One dude, we were at the weed store and I wasn't standing next to Angel because she was taking a picture, and this guy just goes, "Hey Ma, you got a fat ass." And so I go, did you just say to my wife that she has a fat ass? And the guy goes, "Oh man, I'm sorry." And then we were in Times Square. Yeah. And then we were in Times Square, and this fucking random dude again, like Angel was getting an empanada. So I was kind of like away from her. And this guy just goes, "Hey, baby cakes, you looking good. You cleaned up really well." So I don't know if I was like, did you fucking have another life here? Were you a crackhead that got clean? And so we were talking about, Carlos and I were talking about like, how do you deal with like somebody complimenting your girl, or if they're being rude in the compliment. And we came, this is obviously the cliff notes, because we had a whole conversation about it when it wasn't recording.
I got something I'm gonna add to it. Hopefully we can still talk about it. We'll go ahead and finish that part.
And so we both were just saying like, you know, especially in this day and age, you know, how to react to that, and also a maturity thing, like and also maturity on all people's parts of it. So the person giving the fucking rude compliment, you as the guy, how do you respond to that? Are you complimentary to that, or are you like, do you have an attitude? Do you just like, "Hey man," you know, or whatever? And the girl, like, does the girl, is she immature and she feels like she needs that and will play that up and you almost maybe start drama, or is she just like, "Oh, thank you, my husband or my boyfriend feels the same way"? And what were you going to say?
So here's the flip to that. Now, it's have you ever had a woman that this does the reverse? Like a woman will give you a compliment and she flips out about it.
You the person you're with?
Yes.
No. So here's one thing I've always done in my dating life is I always try and think, how would I feel if the roles were reversed? And how would I want somebody to react? So I'm always very conscious of that. So um if somebody was to compliment me in front of Angel, I would probably, if I wasn't holding Angel's hand or something, I'd probably do something to show I'm with her. I'd be like, "Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you." Yeah, I'd probably just keep it real quick and then show and put my attention on Angel to let that person know, "Thank you, appreciate that. This is my girl," you know, and go from there. That's probably how I would handle it. I mean, and Angel's so funny, like, because I told her that I got the text from Isabel. I was like, because when I got it, Angel was at work and her daughter Amari was here, and I said to Amari, I go, "This is so fucking crazy. I got a text from an ex that I haven't talked to in like 13 years." And then when I was telling Angel, and Angel's so funny, she's like, "All right, okay." You know, but just
that's your one. That's your one.
Exactly.
You got one. It better not say nothing else.
Yeah.
You've announced your kid. It ain't Jay's. Don't say nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, but oh, go ahead.
No, I've had one or two exes flip out on me, and again, I think we've talked about this. I started I guess the older I've gotten, I start to watch exactly what you say. What am I doing to facilitate a better response? But I'm always thinking I'm doing me, and I don't mean that in a hey shoes whatever baby. I'm like, if someone gives me a compliment, I'm gonna acknowledge it, and then I'm moving on with my day. But
Yes.
I had one in particular that was just, man, she would flip out if any woman ever talked to me, and I was like, this is why we can't go out. Like, it's just, it's because it starts getting ridiculous, especially in our business, because like, our biggest part of our audience is our women. And so, I mean, supporters, consistent supporters are women. So I'm like,
supporters. Yeah. I mean, it's funny you say that because like Angel knows, and if I've been dating someone, I always tell them, I'm like, you do have groupies, so to speak, or you can have groupies, but I would say 99% of the time it's not the kind of groupie you would want.
not even remotely close. Not even remotely close. And so, and I've always stood by the fact. I mean, like, dude, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy to be like, hey man, she said something to me. I'm waiting till my girl walks away or anything like that. So it's kind of like, whatever you see me doing now, it's the same stuff I do when you're not here. It's not anything different.
And when I say groupies, I'm not talking about like a fan or whatever, or you know, a friend. Like it's so weird. Like I've always had and this is my own thing in my head. Like Sandy's a great example. Like I don't. It's somebody that is like a supporter of mine or whatever. I always have felt weird about like, oh, they're a fan of mine. I don't know why. And Sandy is a perfect example because she's. I would never refer to her as a fan, anyways. Like Sandy's like a friend, you know. Like I met her, and we've all hung out. Her and Angel have hung out, and now Sandy's she's spending her birthday with us, me and Angel. She's coming out here and spending her birthday, but it's always been weird to me to be like, oh, you know, this is so and so. Oh, that's one of my fans. I don't know. It's just it's weird. But when I'm talking groupies, what's up?
I think that's the ego people. When a dude says that, that's one of my fans. I'm gonna say no. I don't know about it if it's ego or not, but I don't know. It's just that it's a different mindset for me. I wouldn't say a fan either, because that'd be like somebody I know,
it's weird. And when I'm saying groupies, I'm saying like somebody that's trying to fuck, and that's what I mean. Like there are groupies out there, or people that are, you know, chuckle fuckers, as they say, but those chuckle fuckers are 99.9% are not anybody you would want to chuckle fuck. You know, I remember in Richland, Washington, there was a girl at a show that was like flirting and big time after the show, and I ended up fucking pawning her off to my buddy Kane. As my dad would say, I put the turd in his pocket and fucking like tried to get, and Kane was like, get her the fuck away from me.
Push that on over there.
Sandy said, I'm a supporter, a friend. Whatever you need me to be in her. Yeah, you're a friend, Sandy. You're a friend to the podcast, and a friend of mine, you know, and there it is, you know. That's at the end of the day, I love y'all, and God know I ain't trying to. I know, Sandy. That's what I said. You know. All right. So what we were just talking about when we realized we hadn't been recording for 20 minutes was Angel Reese, the WNBA rookie, that's killing it. She did a live where somebody asked her about getting flued out, and she's like, "I'm not flying anybody out." And before we get to the question that I presented, I want to say, would you, if you, let's say Angel Reese, she takes a liking to you, Carlos, and she offers to, or a WNBA or some I was going to say, or an NBA star. Hey man, whatever you're into. No, but if a WNBA star or a professional athlete, female professional athlete, would you allow to be flued out? How would you handle that?
Yes.
Yes. So Angel or anybody else, Angel Reese, not my Angel Reese.
Yes. Just that simple. Yes. I mean, listen. I don't think that I say yes, but then it have some asterisks to it. Like I'm not coming out and getting treated like a gigolo. Like I'm coming out, we're gonna have a good time. If you want to pay for the flight, you can pay for the flight. Then I'm gonna take care of the dinners and whatever case may
Yeah.
be. It's gonna be a mutual thing, especially if she's offering. Yeah, so if she's offering and I'm like, yeah, cool, but that'd be a strange feeling because I'm like, that's not something I'm accustomed to.
Right. Yeah, that's how you said it is probably exactly how I would handle it. Yeah, I can't read that. You can read it. Go ahead, right, Carlos. You can read.
This nigga said yes.
That's what Sandy was saying.
I did that. Yes, that's how I said it. Yes. That's how I say it on the mic.
Yes.
Yes, she flew me out.
How you said it or responded is exactly how I think I would too. Because if a girl was like, "I want to fly you out," there would be that initial like, "Oh, I've never been flown out before," but and then I'd be like, "All right, because you want to be like, I'm going to fly you out. I'll allow you to fly me out. You can get the ticket, but I definitely am going to get the dinners and all that." That's exactly.
And then you go get this top notch level loving. Then you go get the top notch. You get the top shelf loving.
Yeah, I would tell her, yeah, if you flew Carlos out, you would get the top shelf loving, but you got me, so I'm going to give you what I can. All right. Now with that, the follow up with that is, could you and or would you and or have you dated someone more successful or more financially successful than you?
Yeah, I have, and it wasn't any different, honestly, because we didn't look at it from that standpoint. She made what she made, I made what I made, and then it was a reciprocation. We did stuff for each other, so it wasn't one of those situations where I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just let you pick up the tab now since you got more than I got. And so no, it definitely wasn't that. So it didn't bother me at all, and I don't think it bothered her. We left on good terms too, so it was like,
yeah,
it don't work as a relationship, but we cool.
Yeah, I'd be like, you get dinner, I'll get the drinks, and by drinks I mean water.
Right?
No. Now here's the we were just about to get in this before, and this is the now. Could you date someone more successful than you that is in the same field as you? Meaning, let's say a comic, because so this is Sandy probably knows. I won't say it, but I had a buddy that was dating a comic and she was very, very successful, more successful than he is or was or is in stand-up. And there was a moment where he was drunk and like was like, how would you handle it, man? What would you do? How would you handle this? So I'm curious, could you do it? And dude, I remember, just to follow up on that, he when he was hammered, he was like, I feel like she's living all of my dreams. I was like, God damn. And you live with her and you're seeing it every day. That's kind of brutal. But so that was my question is, could you date someone that's a comic that as we're struggling, fuck, I'm just trying to fill up my calendar for, 3 months out. And then this person,
she's like, on tour around the world.
Yeah. I'm doing Rogan tomorrow. And then I'll be at, I'll be at Kimmel's the day after that. Oh, you're doing Jimmy Kimmel's Club? No. I'll be on Jimmy Kimmel's show.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Could you do that?
I could do it. I mean, it wouldn't bother me. Again, because I have my own thing going on in my own mindset, and I don't. First of all, I'm trying to think of the women in this business that I would even remotely see like that.
Oh, but attractive? You mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of any
attractive female comics.
Yeah,
Rachel Feinstein.
No, don't do it for me.
Oh, really? Some more.
No.
Okay. Tiffany Haddish.
No.
Okay. Nikki Glazer.
No, she's built like a Q-tip. Nah, I mean, but I guess the point here is it's just like, yes, I could, because you'd have to keep your ego in check. Even as a man, you got to keep your ego in check because she worked just as hard or harder, clearly, to get to that level. So it's just a matter of, hey, man, you do your thing. I'm going to do mine. I'm going to continue to do mine. I'm not going to take a back seat to you in that regard. But I'm, Can you at least put me on the show or two?
Yeah, that was one thing that was crazy. Is in the scenario I'm talking about, my buddy and it's now his ex, but she almost would like they would go to the improv or something, and she almost was like, hey, don't there's a lot of industry here, so don't like she didn't want people to know she had a boyfriend. It was just fucking weird, man.
But that changes the whole changes the whole conversation now, because I understand people have to have a image, but if you can't acknowledge me as your mate amongst your industry friends, that ain't saying, I'm not saying you got to introduce me to him and say, hey, you got to put this guy on or nothing.
Right.
But if you just can't acknowledge that we're a couple, then we got to have some other discussions at the house. And I'm not, because it's the other way around. You have to flip the script on that one too. So if I'm super successful and I'm dating somebody in the business, and I'll be like, hey, baby, why don't you go sit over there? I got to go. How would I expect for her to feel about that?
And that goes back to what we were saying earlier about I always try and put myself in the other person's shoes, and how would I want them to respond. Yeah, it's I remember when he asked me, he was hammered, and he's like, how would you deal with like dating someone that was like, you know, a comic that was more, and I remember at the time I was like, I don't know, I just can't see like a female comic being funnier than me. But it's so fucked up. But there's plenty of female comics that are fucking hilarious.
Absolutely.
Just, you know, crushers. Jessica Kirson, for one. I'll put her up against any comic, dead or alive, is one of the funniest comics you'll ever see. Anyways, yeah, I was I was trying to think, could I like just Angel gets into stand-up and fucking goes viral, and now I'm like, I can open for you, right, Angel? You're gonna let me open for you, right? Yeah, I think I could. It wouldn't be a problem for me dating someone that's a comic that. But you know what's funny is, like, I've always said, like, I don't date comics. Just so it's I and this guy, my buddy, does and has multiple comics, and I'm like, I've always been like, I don't fuck around with that. I just I've always, I mean, there's been comics that I've been attracted to and stuff, and there's even there was a comic that I was like, I think she's flirting with me, but I've always said, for me to have dated a comic, she would literally have to be like, Jay, I want to go out with you. And then I'd be like, okay, we can go out now. Right. I'm not making any assumptions. I don't want, 10 years from now, oh, he was headlining a show and he used his position. Like, nope, not getting that. Fuck all that. I don't, there's plenty of, women, and now I'm with someone, so I'm good.
Which is great. So hey, listen, I can definitely pick up where you left off.
Yeah. Sandy said, nah, I've got to be proud of who I'm dating and introduce him to everyone proudly. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's really about it.
I am Hawk said, come on, Jay, I know you've given the bone to a few open mic females for spots. No, I have not.
But that's going back to Sandy's comedy. Yeah. I mean, again, just show me the respect enough to at least introduce me to people that you think have value. If they're important to you, then they should be important. I should be important enough to you to introduce me to them. It's literally just that simple. Right. So if you can't do that, then yeah, we got to have some discussions. We'll get back to the house, and I'll pack my shit up and move out your house.
Yeah. Plus, going again back to that old school, like, I'll be like, fuck all the comedy shit. If I'm your man, there's got to be a little respect here. I'm still the man in this relationship, and call it what you want. But that's how I like. We're gonna have some chats.
Because some people think, I guess some people think, again, sex sales. So if you're a quote unquote sex symbol, even in your industry, they feel like if they know that you have a mate, then that devalues your sexiness. In this day and age, that shit does not matter at all. If people like you, they like you. So it's not going to be like, oh man, shit, I'm gonna stop listening to her comedy because she got a man. Who says that?
Yeah, exactly.
Who says that? So
now Sandy brought up a question here earlier. She said, dating seems expensive these days. How do you deal with who pays for what these days? So great question. And when I was, scrounging or coming up and, just living off unemployment, if you're creative, you can have great dates that cost like nothing. I mean, I remember there was when I was living in Portland, and I didn't have a lot of money, and I was going out with this girl, and so I did like it was like a choose your own adventure date where I said I have like three. She didn't know what any of them were, but I was like, pick 1 through 3, and it was like 3 different things, and then and there was 3 different options, like so the first one, pick 1 through 3. She picks 1, and one of them we went to McMinimans, which is like it used to be a grade school that they now have converted into like the classrooms are overnight rooms, the gymnasium is a theater, the cafeteria is a restaurant, and we walked around there and talked. So that was like 1, and like then the next one, pick 1 through 3. She picked 1, and it was like but it's all stuff that was like not expensive, but it's like experiences, which I've always been about experiences anyways. I much rather have like memories and like, oh man, that was dope, than like, oh, here's some fucking chocolates or something,
Right.
I don't know. But as far as like dating, like if I'm asking you out, I'm paying for the dates, I don't know, that's just how I am now. Maybe I'm not modern. I'm a modern male. I don't know, but I've always been like, I'm paying for the date if I'm taking you out. How are you with that?
I'm the same way. I mean, if I ask you out, then I'm expecting to pay. Even as a man, I'm expecting to pay. And now if you offer, then again, and you insist on paying, then hey, that's a treat. That's not that I wouldn't normally expect. But as a man out there, you step up, you do what man shit. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to treat you as our lady and wine and dine you. So I'm all for that. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah,
it only changes for me when you, and I think we had that a couple of episodes ago, when you expect it to be done at all the time without reciprocating anything in return, and that's when I start having an issue with it.
Or they start being like, "You supposed to buy me some Jordans."
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I got to make sure that there's a stairwell in between us
to push her down.
Right.
Yeah. You can be like, if they're offering, be like, all right, you get dinner and then you'll be dessert. Okay.
Right.
No.
Top shelf.
Yeah. There you go. Ooh, hey, what up, Alice Mariah? Just popping in. I came in just in time. You did, Alice. Okay, here we go. This one is: do you people? Jesus, what the fuck am I reading? Do you
what
think
people you talking about?
It's supposed to say, "Do you think people?" But I left out "think." Do you think people in this day and age still believe in love, or are they arrangements based on opportunity / what someone else can provide? Do you think people in this day, this is yours, Carlos, and then I added a little additional to it. Actually, we'll put this to the chat. So for everybody in the chat, what's your thoughts? Do you think love still exists? Do you believe in love, whether you're in love or not? Or do you think it's more of an arrangement based on opportunities / what someone else can provide?
To you.
Yeah, provide to you. I definitely believe in love, and I almost went into the second part of this, but we'll get to that in a sec. So I believe it's out there. Yes. And it's interesting because like I watch all kinds of fucking YouTube videos, and I love watching people debate, even if they have the exact opposite of my point of view or views on the world. Just because I love seeing how people's minds work and how they get their point or make their points. But I've been seeing a lot of videos, men and women are different, blah, blah, blah. But they're talking about how men will date down as far as if you're talking financially, whereas women won't. I mean, keep in mind they have a lot of fucking gold digging bitches on these shows. But,
of course,
but it'll be like, a guy, like, would a guy date a girl that works at McDonald's? Absolutely. And then they'll say to a girl, would you date a guy that worked at McDonald's? And all of them are like, no, and they need to make this amount of money minimum, blah, blah, blah. So I'm curious what the ladies in the chat think, but yeah, I've always said I'll date anybody as long as they have goals. I think I said that on the last thing. You can work at McDonald's as long as your goal is to get on fries. Baby steps. What is your goals? Alice said, I believe in love, but now that I'm older, I stopped believing in fairy tales and stopped having expectations. Oh, Alice, you don't have any expectations.
Yeah, what's the last part for me? You gotta have some expectations, and we all have expectations. I think whether we say them or not.
Yeah, I bet she means because I used to say this, like, as far as like going out with a girl, like if she was like, well, we're not going to do this or don't expect this. I'm like, I go with the flow. I'm not expecting anything, because if you expect something and it doesn't happen, then you're disappointed. So I'm enjoying I'm in the moment, and whatever happens, and go from there. So I get that, if that's what you mean, Alice. And you do believe in love, but you don't believe in the fairy tales. I got you. Yeah,
I'm along those same lines.
Yeah, it's a trip, because when Angel and I met, we met through online dating, with dating in general, but I especially think now with online dating, you kind of it's kind of like you're going through, like, okay, here's another online date, and you don't, I guess that kind of is like, I don't put expectations, like, when me and Angel went out the first time, I had no idea. I wasn't like, oh, I think this is the one, without even meeting her, it's and then you're like, oh fuck, I'm digging her, and then you have another date and another, and then fuck, next thing you know, you're getting a house together and all that shit, and then Sandy, she said, I haven't focused on dating and love, etc., for 5 years, so I'm not sure what to expect. And Alice clarifying expectations, like expecting to not get cheated on just because I'm faithful, not finding out something terrible about them in the future. Interesting.
Very. Yeah, and I get what you're saying, Alice. I definitely get what you're saying, because it's, especially for, again, and I can't speak on behalf of women, but I know a lot of women that probably would say the same thing, is that because there's so much foolishness out here in this world right now, especially with regards to men, that y'all are getting a mixed bag of what the fuck ever. So when you start setting yourself up as a woman to expect certain things from a man that you expect to be standard, like expect you to be honest and communicate with me and tell me everything that's going on with you that I need to know that's going to affect me, and that doesn't happen, then you get that response. So it's a dangerous game we out here playing right now. I still believe in love, but I'm also too like, man, I don't really care no more. Honestly, I'm good. My mother asked me that the last time I was with them, which was in June. She was like, "You gonna get married again?" Because I was clearly married before. I was like, "No. I'm not even thinking about it, honestly." And the past relationships that I've had, the most recent ones I've had, it's kind of clarified that I'm good being peaceful by myself. Yes. And if it happens beyond that because I meet somebody out or something happens organically, I'm cool with that. But when I start feeling forced or pressed, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. Sandy said that's the trash. Is it all, Alice? Wait, that's the trash. Is it all?
Right.
Alice. Learning stuff they should have told us at the beginning. Yeah. And Alice said, yeah, I got cheated on and broke down, so I no longer expect certain things. I just hope for the best and fun. The one thing on this, on your one comment, Alice, about expectations, like expecting to not get cheated on just because I'm faithful, I would have those expectations. If, like, I'm not saying, if we're in the courting phase or date, we've been on 2 dates, then I don't have those. But if we're like we've talked and I'm like, we're together, then I got expectations. Yeah. Okay. If I'm your man, you're my girl. Yeah. I expect you to be faithful and you to expect me to be faithful, oh, that's the trash of it all. That's what Sandy was saying. That's the trash of it all, Alice. Learning stuff. Yeah, that they should have told you at the beginning. Okay, I got you.
You mean like you're married? And, I mean, that's a big one. That's a big one. It's interesting. I mean, this dating pool right now, and I say this to any homeboy or homegirl that I know. If you got you a good one, hold on, because these streets right now is trash. It is complete and utter trash, and I hate to say it like that, but I think it's because of social media. It's a lot of different factors, the expectations. I think both men and women have unrealistic expectations as to what they want out of a relationship, but nobody's being honest with each other, saying, "Hey, these are my must-haves. I would not defer on any of this, and if you can't provide it to me, then I'm gonna walk away." And so it's weird. It's weird out here right now.
You know what's funny is, and I think I'm I'd be curious how, maybe if I was younger, how I would have handled it. But when me and Angel were first dating, there was I don't know, we had been seeing each other for maybe a few months, couple, or maybe it was a couple months. But I had, for whatever reason, I kept canceling like plans. Like we'd have plans and I'd cancel it because maybe I got a spot or something. And then one night, we did a podcast. Me and Angel were supposed to do something that night, and I did a podcast, and I think it was like 4:20 or something like that. So I got high for the podcast, and then after the podcast, I was so high I had to call her and cancel, and she kind of it wasn't like she wasn't yelling, she wasn't like angry about it, but she just told me, when I was canceled, she goes, I was really looking forward to spending time, and I make these plans, and I don't make other plans, and now you're canceling again. So she's like, I want to spend time with you, but how about you, when you have time, then you let me know, and I'll see if we can do something. And I like that, and I think that's a knowing your worth type thing. And so
absolutely.
I was like, oh fuck, okay, yeah, I like it, she called me out on something, but in like, again, not in like a fucking screaming or like, fuck you, I was like, it was very classy, and I still remember it to this day. I liked it.
But she let you know what her expectations were without letting you know what her expectations were. Like, listen, if you want to hang with me, then I need you to you have to make the time. You have to make the time.
And keep your word.
Yeah, keep your word. So if you can't do that, then I'm gonna go over here and see what else is going on outside of you, which is very respectable, because it's communication.
Yeah, exactly. Like, she's like, I got people in New York think I got a fat ass.
Right,
I used to do crack.
Right. I had to clean myself up. Shoot, I had to clean myself up, but you
bullshit. You got your shit together. It's so good to see you. Now, here's the follow up I added to your question. She's so mature. Alice said she's so mature. I've blocked people for repeatedly canceling dates. Yeah, no, and I get it. And I mean, she was right in bringing that up. So the second part of this that I added on there is, have you been in love? And if you have, do you fall in love easy, or is it rare for you, or is it hard for you?
I have definitely been in love. I can't recall honestly if that was easier or it was hard. I think I'm in part. I guess I'm neutral to it. I guess it just happens. I know when I feel it, and so I don't force it. It's very organic. So I've definitely been in love, but I think it's harder now. Let me edit. I think it's harder for me now than it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I probably would have fell right in love. Oh man, she's beautiful. This is this, and I'm all in. But now I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I highlighted. Sandy said, I would have cussed you out, Jay. So Angel was just what the name says. And then Bussa 89 said, honestly, the hardest part of getting into a relationship is walking away from your selfish commitment to your own time. Right. Which very true. Which I think I said this to Angel when we first started dating, but especially comics, like, we are very selfish with our time. I mean, you got to be somewhat selfish, but we're probably a lot of selfish as far as, like, we're doing mics, we're doing shows, there's I mean, fuck, especially when you're starting out, you're always at the clubs, like you're networking, you're doing every open mic you can and all that stuff. And I've always said, like anybody that dates me, I always said, I need time for you, time for my friends, and time for myself. And one thing that's dope about, what up, Stefan? See you in here. one of the things that's dope about the house we got is Carlos knows it's like we have 2 living rooms. We have like the adult one, and then we have one that's like a gaming room slash, like where I go and chill. So it's like we have like our system. Like when Angel comes home from work, she likes to, power down for a sec. She doesn't really want to talk, which I totally get. So she'll come home and turn on the news and just veg out, and then I will sit and play vids, and I'll listen to the news while she's playing and stuff. And then after about an hour, then we'll like, okay, how was the day and all that shit, And it's so funny because I remember her daughter has been staying with us for a while, and she came home from work one time and her daughter was like hitting her, like her daughter was excited about some shit that had happened to her the day. So right when she gets home from work, she's like, oh my God, and this happened and this happened. And I just started laughing. I was like, your mom's about to blow. You better give her a fucking minute. She's about to fucking lose it.
You gotta have a moment to decompress.
Yeah. And but this is so true about walking away from your selfish commitment to your own time, especially like I wasn't in a relationship for 10 plus years before me and Angel got together, and so it is her calling me out on that, like, hey, you can't just be canceling shit and if you make plans. So it was good. As far as me with love, like I always say, like, if I tell you I love you, it's legit, because I feel like so many people they just throw that word out, and I can count on one hand the women that I've been like, I love you, and I wasn't just trying to get pussy, No, but I honestly, I like Angel, and then like I said, Isabel was before her, and that was 13 years ago, 13 or 14 or 15. And yeah, I know I'm not going to go down the list of the 4 or 5 people, but I know exactly. Yeah, it's rare for me to be like, I love you, and so if I say that, it's fucking legit. That's what I meant as far as like, is it easy or I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever been like fucking second date, I love you.
I definitely haven't done that.
Even when I was young, I don't think. Yeah, that's
but back to the selfish part, and I think that's where, and I have to be honest with myself, I think that's where I'm at right now with it. I'm more selfish about my time now because I feel like I've wasted so much time, not just in relationships, just in general, and in life bullshitting. So I'm like, now that I'm full throttle with what we got going on comedically, I'm like, for anybody to come in now, that's probably one of the front conversations I'm going to have is that, hey, listen, if you have to understand that this comes first for now. That doesn't mean that you're not a part of it or you can't be a co-partner in that. But if you don't understand that when I say I got to go do this, then let's not waste each other's time. So I'm super selfish about that right now.
Yeah, and I think because you are so wise that you recognize that. But for real though, that you when we're younger, you may not recognize that as much or have it be so clear. You know what I mean? But yeah, and that's I mean, and I know Angel's going to be fine with it, but that's one thing that like we've talked where I'm like, man, I want to fucking, I have so much new stuff that I want to work on, and I want to start doing grinding on these mics and everything. So what you laughing at, Alice? Well, now knowing this about you, I feel you owe your neighbors some Jordans.
I do not. She didn't even get enough time. To get to earn Jordans. Again, you missed the top shelf portion, Alice, of this. She got the bottom shelf. If you know how they have bottom shelf liquor, and there's top shelf liquor. She got the bottom shelf loving. So she don't get Jordans at bottom shelf loving. You can't get that.
She get like the Jordan 7s.
She get the ones from the swap meet. She's the swap meet pandas.
Michael Jordan. All right, let's we got to wrap it up. And this is it's a kind of short 45 minutes because we fucking weren't recording, or there was an error, so it didn't record like the first 15 minutes, but we fucking went over it real quick. All right, what do you got coming up?
Actually, I'm heading out, flying out early in the morning to Chattanooga, Tennessee, to be at the Comedy Cash this weekend. So it's going down this weekend in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So if y'all know anybody, pass the word, tell them come over and hang with me. Then back in Vegas next week to get back to work here.
You're a great club, by the way. Comedy Catches. I fucking love the Comedy Catch. I am at the Cellar all this week, the Comedy Cellar here in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Rio, through Sunday, and then next week you'll see me and Carlos out grinding, doing mics. So until next week, we'll keep putting the love back in you, right? This has been Love in Black and White. Bye.